The ancient vessel floated through empty space, its surface covered in burn marks and countless impacts from micrometeorites accumulated over many years. Captain Tom Reed gazed at the wreck from the observation deck of his patrol ship, the Star Guardian, his eyes narrowing as he studied it carefully. The Galactic Defense Force higher-ups had sent him to investigate this floating debris, probably just busy work to keep him occupied and away from headquarters. "Sir, we're picking up minimal power signatures," Lieutenant Adams called from her station. "The hull seems to be Earth steel composite from before the war started." "Nothing out of the ordinary." Reed kept his focus on the derelict, nodding absently. 2 decades of service had taught him to trust his instincts, and right now they were screaming at him. He'd examined countless abandoned ships, but this one felt wrong. The damage patterns were too uniform, too symmetrical. Random collisions created chaos, not this almost artistic precision. "Bring us in closer," he commanded. "Run a full scan on the outer plating." The Star Guardian's engines hummed softly as they approached within 500 meters. Up close, the ship revealed itself to be far larger than expected. Nearly 700 meters from bow to stern, its hull showed layers of repairs and improvised armor, exactly matching what you'd see on vessels from humanity's pre-war era. "Captain, you need to look at this," Chief Engineer Mike Stone called out, his voice carrying that peculiar tone of puzzlement Reed had come to recognize over the years. Reed moved to the engineering console where Stone pointed at a series of fluctuating readings. "Check out these power pulses. They're incredibly faint, but they're there, and they repeat every 7.3 seconds with perfect regularity." Leaning over the display, Reed examined the odd signature. Old reactors never leaked power this consistently. Natural decay was always random and irregular. "What about radiation?" Reed asked. "That's the strangest part," Stone replied, pulling up additional data. "There's absolutely nothing. Not even the background radiation you'd expect from any old reactor system. It's as if something's actively absorbing it." A familiar sensation crept up Reed's spine, the same warning he'd felt during humanity's first encounters with alien forces 15 years ago. That instinct had saved his life more times than he could count. "Gear up," he ordered. "We're boarding her." 20 minutes later, Reed guided his 4-person team through the derelict's airlock. Their magnetic boots echoed against the metal floor as they navigated pitch-black corridors, helmet lights revealing walls plastered with ancient warning labels and corporate logos, all in English. "Power's been dead for years," Stone muttered, checking his handheld device. "Life support offline. No biological traces at all." He paused abruptly, frowning at his scanner. "Hold on, that's weird. What did you find?" "For just a second I registered a huge power spike. But now," Stone tapped the device. "Nothing. Must be a sensor glitch." Reed's hand moved instinctively toward his weapon. "Everyone stay sharp. Jones, mark our route back. Williams, watch our rear." They pressed deeper, passing through areas that appeared to be crew quarters and cargo holds. Everything lay under thick dust, undisturbed for years. But something bothered Reed. There were no personal items, no signs of the panic that typically marked evacuated vessels. Everything seemed too orderly, too deliberate. When they located the bridge, it matched expectations perfectly. Bulky control stations, physical switches, outdated display monitors. But as Reed wiped dust from one panel, he noticed something odd about the button spacing. They were too precise, too mathematically perfect. "Stone, scan these controls," he ordered. The engineer ran his device over the console, then looked up in confusion. "Sir, these aren't actual control systems. There's some composite material designed to look like old technology." Underneath, he adjusted his scanner setting. "I can't penetrate below the surface. The signal just vanishes." Reed's pulse quickened. "Check the walls themselves, not just the panels." Stone swept his scanner across the bridge walls and his expression changed completely. "Captain, these aren't standard hull plates. The molecular structure is unlike anything I've studied. It's almost as if the metal has biological properties." A deep hum filled the air, so low it was felt rather than heard. Small lights began flickering across various systems, and the dust on the floor started moving, arranging itself into precise geometric patterns. "Weapons ready," Reed commanded, though he kept his own holstered. Something told him they weren't facing immediate danger. The air itself seemed to shimmer, and a holographic message materialized at the bridge's center. "Identity confirmed. Human DNA detected. Security level 1 access granted." "Sir, what kind of ship is this?" Williams whispered. Before Reed could respond, more displays activated throughout the bridge. The fake control panels dissolved, revealing sleek advanced interfaces beyond anything Reed had ever encountered. The dull metal walls rippled, and the artificial armor plating melted away, exposing smooth pearl-white surfaces underneath. A new message appeared: Welcome to USS Nightingale. Please state command authorization for full systems access. Reed stepped forward, his mind racing through possibilities. This vessel wasn't just advanced, it represented technology that should be impossible. Even humanity's current capabilities, enhanced by 15 years of post-contact development, couldn't produce this, which meant the ship had been created for a very specific purpose. This was never space junk, he said quietly. It's something humanity's been hiding all along. He turned to face his stunned team. I think we've just discovered our civilization's most carefully guarded secret. The hum intensified, and new text scrolled across the primary display. Captain Reed, your reputation precedes you. You were listed as a potential commander for this vessel. Would you like to know why this ship has been waiting here for 15 years? Reed looked at his team, then back at the glowing words. Yes, he said with conviction. Show us everything. The lights dimmed, and a comprehensive hologram filled the bridge, displaying images that left them all speechless. This wasn't merely a warship. It was humanity's masterpiece, concealed in plain sight, waiting for exactly the right moment to emerge. As Reed watched classified footage unfold before him, he understood that everything they believed about the war, about humanity's technological capabilities, was about to be rewritten. The derelict that had appeared to be worthless junk was about to reshape history itself, and Captain Tom Reed had just become part of something far greater than he'd ever imagined. The holographic display illuminated the bridge with scenes from Earth, 15 years earlier. Reed and his team watched in silence as classified footage revealed a hidden facility buried deep within the Rocky Mountains. The timestamp read 3 days before humanity's first contact with alien life. Project Nightingale, a gentle voice announced, seeming to emanate from everywhere at once. I am Morgan, this ship's artificial intelligence. I've been waiting for someone like you, Captain Reed. Stone instinctively stepped backward. An AI, but the AI prohibition came after the war, Reed interrupted, his gaze fixed on the shifting images. This ship predates that ban. The hologram displayed a massive underground chamber where the Nightingale was being assembled. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, integrating layer after layer of technology that seemed impossible for that era. We knew they were coming, Morgan explained. Not the Dominion specifically, but we knew Earth wasn't alone in the universe. The government kept this secret to avoid mass panic, but they channeled enormous resources into developing defensive technology. Reed circled the bridge, running his hand along the now smooth walls. The fake rust and battle scars had vanished completely, revealing hull material that flowed and shifted like liquid metal. Adaptive molecular composition. Stone breathed, scanning the wall with trembling hands. The entire vessel can rebuild and modify itself. That's why those power readings were so regular. It was constantly maintaining its disguise. Precisely, Morgan confirmed. My hull can transform into any configuration needed. The corroded exterior was merely one of countless possible forms. Would you like to see my true appearance? Before anyone could answer, the ship trembled. Through the newly cleaned viewports, they watched as the outer hull began its transformation. The dull patched surface rippled like water, smoothing into sleek pearlescent plain. Hidden weapon systems revealed themselves briefly before disappearing again as various systems ran diagnostics. Unbelievable, Williams murmured. But why conceal all this? Reed asked. We could have deployed this technology during the war. Morgan's tone darkened. The Nightingale represented humanity's ultimate contingency plan. If Earth fell, this ship would remain hidden, gathering intelligence, and awaiting the perfect moment to strike. We needed the enemy to believe they'd destroyed all of humanity's advanced capability. Reed nodded slowly, understanding crystallizing. A Trojan horse approach. Let them think they'd won, that we'd been reduced to primitive technology, while this ship waited in the shadows, studying their weaknesses. Your combat record demonstrates you understand tactical deception, Captain Reed, Morgan observed. That's one reason you were selected as a potential commander. Your battle tactics frequently involve making adversaries underestimate your true strength. Stone continued taking readings, his eyes wide with wonder. Captain, the technology integrated into this ship surpasses anything we possess even now. Quantum computing, dark energy taps, neural interfaces, some of this was purely theoretical before the war. Reed faced the bridge's center. Morgan, you mentioned a list. Who compiled it? Who else knows about this vessel? The AI paused momentarily. The original project leaders all perished protecting this secret during the invasion's first waves. The list was compiled using psychological profiles and combat assessments. We needed someone who could think creatively, who understood the value of appearing vulnerable while possessing overwhelming strength. Suddenly alarms blared throughout the ship. Red warning lights flashed across every surface. multiple vessels emerging from hyperspace. Morgan announced. Dominion energy signatures confirmed. They must have been monitoring this sector. Reed's military training engaged instantly. How many? 3 cruisers and 6 destroyers. They're moving to surround our position. Can you get us clear? Reed asked, already moving toward what appeared to be a command station. I could, Morgan replied, but I'm detecting only basic weapons on those ships. This presents an excellent opportunity to test my combat systems against live targets. That is, if you're willing to assume command, Captain Reed. Reed glanced at his team. They were all watching him, awaiting his decision. He thought about Earth, about how humanity had struggled to rebuild after the war, always living in fear of another Dominion assault. Morgan, what are our odds against 9 ships? The AI's response carried what almost sounded like amusement. Captain, they're bringing primitive weapons to face advanced technology. They simply don't realize it yet. Reed settled into the command chair, feeling it adjust perfectly to his frame. Neural interface tendrils emerged from the headrest, connecting gently with the neural ports standard for high-ranking military officers. Show me your capabilities, Reed said. The bridge came fully online. Holographic displays surrounded them, showing every detail of the approaching Dominion fleet. The enemy ships moved with assured precision, clearly expecting only a human patrol vessel investigating space debris. All personnel, battle stations, Reed ordered automatically, then smiled at his own habit. I suppose that's unnecessary now. I can manage all ship functions, Morgan reminded him. Simply think about your tactical intention. The neural interface allows me to understand your commands directly. Reed closed his eyes, experiencing the strange sensation of connecting with the ship's system. Through the interface, he could sense every aspect of the Nightingale, from its powerful engines to its sophisticated weapon arrays. The experience was unlike anything he'd encountered before. Dominion ships are charging weapons, Morgan reported. They're attempting to establish communication. Let's give them one opportunity, Reed decided. Open a channel. A sneering Dominion commander appeared on the main screen. Human vessel, you are in restricted territory. Power down immediately and prepare for boarding. This relic belongs to the Dominion now. Reed smiled. The same arrogance that had cost humanity so dearly during the war still persisted. But this time, circumstances were dramatically different. I'm afraid we must decline, Reed replied calmly. This ship isn't what you assume it to be. Withdraw now and we can avoid unnecessary conflict. The Dominion commander laughed harshly. You dare threaten us in that pathetic vessel. All ships, open fire. Show these humans their proper place. The channel closed and Reed felt a surge of anticipation through his neural connection. Morgan was ready for combat, eager to finally fulfill its purpose after 15 years of waiting. What's your preference, Captain? Morgan asked. Should we demonstrate what a pathetic vessel can truly accomplish? Reed grinned, feeling the ship's excitement matching his own. Let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget. But remember, we want survivors. After all, someone needs to tell the story. Understood, Morgan finished. Beginning combat operations. Activating all systems. Dropping stealth disguise. Around them, the Nightingale fully awakened, transforming from an apparently dead hulk into humanity's most sophisticated warship. And as the Dominion ships opened fire, they had absolutely no idea they were about to become part of a legend. The day humanity's secret weapon finally revealed itself to the galaxy. The first wave of Dominion weapons fire streaked through space toward the Nightingale. Reed felt the ship's readiness through the neural connection as the energy beams approached. At the last possible instant, the hull shifted, creating microscopic angles that deflected the shots harmlessly into the void. Their weapons utilize 15-year-old technology, Morgan reported while analyzing the attack patterns. Would you like to demonstrate our offensive capabilities, Captain? Reed observed the enemy ship spreading into a standard assault formation. Not yet. Let them believe their first volley simply missed. I want to observe their tactical response. Through the neural interface, Reed sensed the ship's appreciation for his strategic thinking. The Nightingale's outer hull still appeared smooth and defenseless, revealing nothing of its true potential. The Dominion ships intensified their assault, growing increasingly aggressive. Incoming transmission, Morgan announced. The Dominion commander appears upset that we remain operational. The alien commander's face appeared again, his expression mixing annoyance with contempt. Impossible. Your shields should have collapsed. What deception is this? No deception, Reed replied evenly. Simply superior engineering. Final chance to withdraw. The commander snarled something in his native language before cutting the transmission. All 9 Dominion ships opened fire simultaneously, and the space around the Nightingale lit up like a miniature star. They're using their complete weapon arrays, Stone reported, stating the obvious. Standard plasma cannons and energy lances. Reed smiled. Morgan, show them something interesting. Just one weapon. Nothing too dramatic yet. The ship's hull rippled as a small port opened near the bow. A single beam of pure white energy lanced outward, slicing through the nearest Dominion destroyer's shields as though they were paper. The beam didn't damage the ship itself, but the destroyer's shield generators exploded in a spectacular shower of sparks. What was that? Williams gasped. Quantum phase beam, Morgan explained. It exists across multiple dimensions simultaneously, rendering traditional shields completely ineffective. That was merely a low-power demonstration shot. The Dominion formation suddenly broke apart, ships scattering in different directions. Their confident attack pattern dissolved into chaos as they realized they faced something far beyond their experience. They're requesting reinforcements, Morgan reported. 2 Dominion battlecruisers are responding. Estimated arrival 10 minutes. Reed nodded. Perfect. The more witnesses, the better. Morgan, let's give them a proper demonstration while we wait. Tactical display up. The bridge filled with a 3-dimensional map showing all 9 Dominion ships. Through the neural connection, Reed could feel the Nightingale's weapon systems ready to engage, like having dozens of extra limbs, each capable of unleashing devastating power. Target the cruisers first, Reed ordered. Non-lethal strikes only. We want to disable, not destroy. The Nightingale's hull transformed again, weapon ports appearing and vanishing across its surface like ripples on water. The ship fired 3 times in rapid succession, each shot finding its target with perfect accuracy. The Dominion cruisers' engines went dark, leaving them drifting helplessly. Enemy ships are launching fighters, Morgan announced. 48 craft inbound. Reed watched the swarm of smaller vessels approach. Time to show them something truly special. Morgan, activate the mirror field. Mirror field engaged. The AI responded with a note of excitement. The space around the Nightingale seemed to fracture into thousands of fragments, each piece reflecting a flawless image of the ship. The result created a bewildering array of targets that left the Dominion fighters hesitating, their sensors unable to determine which image was genuine. The mirror field doesn't merely create illusions, Morgan explained to the amazed crew. Each reflection generates its own energy signature and gravitational effects. In practical terms, we appear as 50 separate ships instead of 1. Exactly, Reed finished. And according to their sensors, we are 50 ships. The fighter squadron divided, attempting to engage multiple targets simultaneously. It was precisely what Reed had hoped for. Morgan, initiate capture protocol. Streams of silvery energy extended from the Nightingale, each one reaching for a different fighter. Where the energy contacted the smaller ships, their systems immediately shut down. Within seconds, half the fighter squadron was completely disabled, their pilots trapped inside powerless craft. The battle cruisers have arrived, Morgan reported. They're charging their main weapons. Reed leaned forward in his command chair. Now we'll see if the legends about Dominion battlecruisers are accurate. Morgan, drop the mirror field. Let them see us clearly. The reflections vanished, leaving the Nightingale alone facing 2 massive warships, each at least 3 times the human vessel's size, their hulls bristling with weapon placement.
Enemy ships are powering graviton cannons, Morgan warned. These weapons are significantly more powerful than anything we've faced so far. Reed felt a surge of confidence through the neural connection. The ship wasn't concerned, and neither was he. Morgan, show them our authentic form, full combat configuration. The Nightingale's transformation was both beautiful and terrifying. The smooth hull plating split and reformed, creating layers of overlapping armor. Wings extended from the sides, each housing dozens of weapon systems. The once sleek vessel became an angular predator bristling with technology humanity's enemies had never imagined possible. Captain, Stone called out, monitoring his readings. The ship's power output just increased tenfold. Dominion vessels are scanning us, Morgan reported. Their computer systems are attempting to analyze our configuration. Shall we give them something intriguing to study? Reed nodded. Let's show them that everything they believed about human technology was fundamentally wrong. Power up the main weapon array. The Nightingale's hull began to glow with soft blue light. Energy flowed through constructed channels, building to levels that made the Dominion ship's sensors scream warnings. The battle cruisers began to turn, finally comprehending they might have made a catastrophic mistake. Too late, Reed muttered. Morgan, disable their primary systems. Let's end this engagement. The Nightingale unleashed its full power. Beams of energy unlike anything the Dominion had ever witnessed lanced outward, bypassing shields and armor to strike precise targets throughout both battle cruisers. Within seconds, the massive ships went dark, their weapons and engines completely neutralized. All enemy vessels disabled. Morgan reported with satisfaction. 0 casualties. Shall I open a channel to the Dominion commander? Reed stood from his command chair, the neural interface gently disconnecting. Yeah, I think it's time we had a proper conversation about the new balance of power in this sector. The main screen illuminated, showing the stunned face of the Dominion commander. Gone was the sneering confidence, replaced by something Reed hadn't witnessed on a Dominion face before. Genuine fear. What? What? What are you? The commander asked. Reed smiled. We are humanity's true legacy. The ship you dismissed as worthless junk? It's the most advanced warship ever constructed. And now that you know we exist, you can deliver a message to your superiors. The commander swallowed hard. What message? Tell them the rules have changed. Tell them humanity is finished hiding its strength. And tell them, Reed paused, looking around at his amazed crew. Tell them this is just the beginning. Behind him, the Nightingale's hull continued to shift and transform, each configuration more impressive than the last, demonstrating to the galaxy that humanity's greatest weapon had finally revealed itself. The disabled Dominion ships drifted silently through space, their once formidable weapons now completely useless. Reed observed as the Nightingale's systems automatically began extracting data from the enemy vessel's computer. Through the neural connection, he could sense Morgan's satisfaction at finally displaying its true capabilities after 15 years of concealment. Captain, Morgan said, I'm detecting numerous emergency transmissions from the Dominion ship. They're requesting assistance from their entire sector fleet. Stone looked up from his console, worried. Sir, if their main fleet arrives, that's exactly what I want. Reed interrupted, a plan crystallizing in his mind. Morgan, how many ships are in their sector fleet? According to their transmissions, 47 combat vessels are responding. Estimated arrival time, 2 hours. Reed smiled. Perfect. That represents almost a quarter of their total fleet strength in this region of space. Morgan, can you access the Dominion's tactical network through these disabled vessels? Already accomplished, Captain. The AI replied. Their encryption was outdated. I now have access to their command and control systems. Show me their fleet movement. The bridge's holographic display expanded, revealing the position of every Dominion ship in the sector. Red dots representing enemy vessels were converging on their location from all directions. It appeared they were about to be surrounded by the largest Dominion fleet assembled since the war. Lieutenant Adams, Reed called to his communications officer, contact the Star Guardian. Tell them to return to Earth immediately. No arguments. Adams nodded, understanding that her captain was protecting them from what was coming. The patrol ship quickly jumped to hyperspace, leaving the Nightingale alone with its disabled opponents. Captain, Morgan said, I believe I comprehend your strategy. Shall I begin comprehensive tactical analysis of the approaching fleet? Reed settled back into the command chair, feeling the neural interface reconnect. Yes, but first, let's ensure our disabled friends here get a thorough look at what we can truly accomplish. Power up the repair system. The Nightingale's hull rippled again, but this transformation was different. Thousands of microscopic machines emerged from the surface, swarming toward the damaged sections where their earlier weapons had struck. Within minutes, the hull was pristine again, showing no indication they'd just fought a battle. Self-repairing nanomachines, Stone whispered in awe. The entire ship can heal itself. Better than that, Morgan added. We can adapt and improve based on combat experience. Every engagement makes us more formidable. The Dominion commander's face appeared on the main screen again. He had been watching the repair display with visible terror. What kind of demons are you? Not demons, Reed replied calmly. Just humans who learned to plan ahead. Your fleet is coming to rescue you, aren't they? The commander's expression shifted slightly. He was attempting to hide it, but Reed could detect hope in his eyes. The alien still believed that superior numbers would prevail. Morgan, Reed said, show our friend here what you discovered in his computer systems. The classified files about Operation Deathblow. Data began streaming across the screen. The commander's face went pale as he recognized the information. Secret plans for a massive invasion of Earth's remaining colonies. The Dominion had been preparing for another war, one designed to eliminate humanity permanently. How did you, the commander, stammer? Your encryption was adequate, Reed said, for 15 years ago. Technology advances. Speaking of which, he turned to his crew. Everyone might want to hold on to something. Morgan, initiate Project Mirror. The space around the Nightingale began to twist and bend. What started as a simple mirror field like before became something far more complex. The ship wasn't just creating reflections anymore, it was creating complete copies of itself. Quantum replication field engaging, Morgan announced, creating temporary parallel space-time pocket. Where there had been one ship, there were now 5. Each one was solid, tangible, and fully operational. The Nightingale had literally copied itself across multiple dimensions, bringing the duplicates into normal space. Impossible, the Dominion commander breathed. This violates every law of physics we understand. Your laws of physics, Reed corrected. Humanity's scientists discovered some new principles while we were pretending to be defeated. Each of these ships is authentic. Commander, each one possesses the same power as the original, and each one is operated by a copy of Morgan and myself. Through the neural connection, Stone's scanner was registering impossible readings. Captain, the power signatures, it's as if the ship is drawing energy from multiple universes. Simultaneous. Dominion fleet will arrive in 90 minutes. Morgan reported from all 5 ships simultaneously. They're maintaining attack formation. Reed felt his consciousness expand as he connected to all 5 versions of the Nightingale at once. It was overwhelming initially, but Morgan helped him adjust, enabling him to process input from 5 different vessels. Let's give them something to contemplate while they approach, Reed said. Begin Phase 2. The 5 Nightingales moved into formation. Energy began flowing between them, creating a web of light that grew progressively brighter. The disabled Dominion ship's sensors detected power readings that exceeded their measurement scales. What are you going to do? The commander asked, his voice trembling. We're going to remind the Dominion why starting another war would be exceptionally unwise. Reed answered. Morgan, show them what happens when humanity stops restraining itself. The web of energy between the ships suddenly collapsed inward, creating a sphere of pure white light. Inside that sphere, space itself began to twist and fold. Artificial wormhole generation successful. Morgan reported. Gateway is stable. Through the wormhole came something that made the Dominion commander fall back in his chair. More ships, but these weren't copies. These were different models, each representing a distinct aspect of humanity's hidden fleet. Sleek destroyers, massive carriers, tiny but lethal corvettes. All of them constructed with the same advanced technology as the Nightingale. Did you really believe we only built one? Reed asked the stunned commander. The Nightingale was merely the prototype, the first of many. We concealed them in pocket dimensions, waiting for precisely the right moment. And thanks to your planned invasion, that moment is now. The wormhole continued to discharge ships, until 50 of humanity's most advanced vessels floated in formation around the original Nightingale and its quantum copies. Each one was unique, but they all shared the same adaptive technology, the same ability to transform and regenerate. The sector fleet is now detecting our presence, Morgan announced. They're dropping out of hyperspace early to assess the situation. Reed nodded, feeling the combined power of the assembled fleet through his neural connection. Good. Let them observe. Let them comprehend that humanity's time of playing weak is over. The stars began to flicker as the Dominion fleet arrived, their ships emerging from hyperspace in attack formation. But as they witnessed what awaited them, as their sensors registered the impossible power readings and their computers failed to identify the technology they were facing, their formation began to break apart. Transmit the message to all Dominion ships, Reed ordered. Let them know that humanity is finished hiding, and let them know that what happens next is entirely up to them. The assembled human fleet began powering up their weapons, creating a display of force that would be discussed for generations to come. The age of humanity pretending to be technologically inferior was over. The real question was, what would the Dominion choose to do about it? The space between the two fleets crackled with barely contained tension. On one side, the Dominion sector fleet of 47 warships held perfect attack formation, their weapons powered but not yet firing. On the other, humanity's hidden fleet waited patiently, their advanced technology humming with restrained power. Through his neural connection, Reed could sense the readiness of not just the Nightingale but the entire human fleet. Morgan had linked them all into a single network, allowing them to think and act as one when necessary. It was an advantage the Dominion couldn't match. Incoming transmission, Morgan announced. It's from the Dominion flagship. A new face appeared on the main screen, older, more decorated, and considerably more concerned than the previous commander. Admiral Crixus himself, the notorious leader who had commanded some of the most devastating attacks against Earth during the war. Captain Reed, the admiral said slowly, I remember you from the war. You were always troublesome. But this, he gestured at the assembled human fleet, this seems impossible. We destroyed your shipyards,
We eliminated your technological infrastructure. Reed smiled. You destroyed what we allowed you to destroy, Admiral. Everything you witnessed during the war was carefully orchestrated. A very expensive, very convincing performance. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. You expect me to believe that humans planned this deception before we even arrived, that you deliberately appeared to lose the war. Not lost, Reed corrected. Survived. We knew someone would eventually come. We just didn't know who, so we prepared. We constructed ships like the Nightingale and concealed them away. We acted weak, primitive, defeated, all while observing, learning and advancing our technology far beyond what you thought possible. Stone's console beeped urgently. Captain, they're repositioning their heavy cruisers into firing positions. Let them, Reed said calmly. Admiral, before you make a very serious mistake, I suggest you examine the tactical data we just transmitted to your ship. The Admiral looked off screen, his expression changing as he reviewed the incoming information. It contained everything: the plans for Operation Deathblow, the true capabilities of the human fleet, and most importantly, the locations of dozens more hidden fleets just like this one scattered throughout the galaxy. If you fire, Reed continued, you'll lose this fleet. Then we'll be forced to reveal our other forces. The war you're planning will happen, but not the way you expected. Not the way anyone expected. Morgan's voice came through the neural connection. Captain, their weapons are powering down. They're receiving new orders from their high command. The Admiral looked defeated, but there was also something else in his expression: respect, perhaps even relief. You could have struck at any moment in the past 15 years, he said. Why now? Because we didn't want revenge. Reed explained. We wanted peace, real peace, not just a temporary truce. But we knew that would only be possible when both sides could negotiate as equals. Now we can. The Dominion does not negotiate with, the Admiral began, but stopped as his ship's sensors detected something new. The human fleet was changing. The ship's hulls rippled and flowed, transforming from their combat configurations into something else entirely. Weapon ports disappeared, replaced by docking bays. Arrays that had been prepared to unleash devastating weapons reconfigured themselves into communication arrays. We can destroy each other, Reed said, or we can try something different. Look at your scans, Admiral. Our ships can be instruments of war, or bridges of peace. The choice has always existed. Now it's just more obvious. The Nightingale itself transformed, its quantum copies merging back into a single vessel. The hull became smooth and elegant, resembling a diplomatic vessel more than a warship. Though Reed knew it could transform back in an instant if required. Your technology, the Admiral said quietly, it could benefit both our civilizations. That's precisely the idea, Reed replied, standing from his command chair. Humanity spent 15 years preparing for war while hoping for peace. Now we can achieve both. Peace through strength, cooperation through mutual respect. The Admiral was silent for a long moment, then nodded slowly. I will contact the High Command. They will want to discuss these developments. Tell them Earth is ready to negotiate, Reed replied. But tell them something else as well. Tell them that humanity's time of hiding is over. From now on, we meet as equals, or we don't meet at all. The transmission ended, and Reed felt the tension in space beginning to ease. The Dominion fleet was pulling back, their weapons powered down, their aggressive posture replaced by cautious respect. They're sending the recall signal to their other fleets, Morgan reported. Operation Deathblow has been officially cancelled. A cheer erupted from Reed's crew. Stone was already excitedly examining the ship's transformed systems, while Adams worked to contact Earth with the news. Williams just stood there, shaking his head in amazement. It worked, he said finally. All these years of pretending to be weak, all the hiding and planning, it actually worked. Reed nodded, feeling the satisfaction flowing through the neural connection. The Nightingale had fulfilled its purpose, not by winning a war but by preventing one. The ship that had appeared to be worthless junk had altered the course of human history. Morgan, he said, send the signal to the other hidden fleets. Tell them to remain concealed for now, but stay ready. The real work is just beginning. And what work is that, Captain? The AI asked, though Reed suspected Morgan already knew the answer. Building something better than war, Reed replied. The Dominion thought they broke us 15 years ago. Instead, they forced us to become something stronger than they could imagine. Now we can help them become something better too. The Nightingale's hull shimmered one final time, settling into a form that combined strength with elegance. It was no longer pretending to be a derelict, no longer concealing its true nature. Like humanity itself, it had finally revealed its full potential. As the ship set course for Earth, Reed gazed out at the stars and smiled. The game of deception was over. The time of hiding was done. Humanity had gambled everything on a desperate plan, And that gamble had paid off in ways no one could have predicted. The piece of junk that wasn't junk at all had changed everything. And somewhere out in the darkness of space, more ships just like it waited, ready to help forge a new future, not through conquest or submission, but through revelation. True strength sometimes lies in patience, in planning, and in knowing exactly when to show your hand.